I'm sure this will probably ruffle a feather or two, but that's okay. I can handle it. So, why should you not be in a rush to quit your day job? Right. So, first of all, I am clearly a huge proponent of network marketing. I'm a huge advocate of network marketing. I teach and train it every single day. So, I love network marketing. It's it's what I've been involved in for 36 years. So, this isn't an anti network marketing, oh, it doesn't work, so don't quit your day job. That's not the point here. The point is it's incredibly difficult to build a business when you're wrought with fear. And so I get that you want to, get the money going and you want to get out of the job. I totally get it. The mistake that I made years and years ago was thinking that I would be, and I clearly remember this. This is like people often, they'll ask me like, what's the biggest mistake? Or what are some of the biggest mistakes you made in network marketing? And, I've made a bunch of them for sure, but early on, very early on, in fact, my first 90 days of being in network marketing for the very first time, the biggest mistake that I made was quitting my day job. Now, at the time, I had zero assets, nothing. I had nothing in savings. I had nothing. I lived in an apartment. I had no assets. I probably had negative assets. And I'm thinking, oh, I'm going to be making 10 grand a month in no time. And so I had a job, and some of you guys that have followed me for any period of time know this story. I had a job that, for a 22-year-old kid, like this is kind of what it makes it an even dumber, bigger mistake. So as a 22-year-old kid, I had a job doing door-to-door sales where I worked 3 nights a week, 3 hours a night, and I was making roughly $1,000 a week. That is insane for a 22-year-old kid. I don't think I ever worked more than 10 hours in a week. And it was in the evenings. So it was like from 3 to 6 or 3 to 7 or 4 to 7 or whatever it was. And I quit that job that was paying the bills and actually giving me a little extra. I had the rest of the week to build my network marketing business. And in my mind, in my young, naive, stupid mind, I'm thinking I'm going to be making 10 G's a month in this thing. That's as far as my mind could see at that point. And so I quit the job and I hadn't proven to myself that I could make network marketing work at all, let alone consistent earnings over time. And so now I got no money coming in and the bills keep coming in. And so I'm like, okay, so think about that for a second. You had the money, so you got the cash coming in, you're paying the bills. Maybe you're not getting ahead, maybe you're not rich, maybe you're not even anything close to that, but you're staying afloat. And then all of a sudden the bills keep coming, but the check ain't coming. And it is like let's just say it's an incredibly difficult and uncomfortable position to be in because you're operating from fear. And when you're operating from fear, nobody wants to do business with you. It's kind of interesting. Like if you look at banks don't tend to loan money to desperate people. Like when you're desperate and you need the money, like I need the money, man, they're unlikely to give it to you. But it's funny, you got some money, you got, a way to pay back the loan, if you will. Then we'll loan you some money. Well, I don't really need the money, so I don't need a loan, right? So it's the same thing here. And so my suggestion is, and look, like if your sponsor saying, hurry up, quit your job. Like I remember like that's a huge mistake. I'm not saying at some point, don't quit your job. That's your choice at that point. And I've coached a lot of people through that over the years. But it's like, in fact, it's making me think of my buddy Mark. I worked with this guy, and some of you guys, I'm not going to go into the whole Mark story, but I worked with this guy and very closely for a long period of time. And he had been in the same job for 17 years. And he was making, I think, 70 grand a year at the time. And it was like, that's the, and he was 17 years, 70 grand a year. And he finally he was getting to a point where he was making 10, 12,000 a month consistently in the business that we were involved in at the time. And he's like, he came to me and he's like, should I quit my job? I'm like, bro, that's all on you. I'm not going to tell you whether you should quit your job or not. I mean, you have a good track record. You're making more here now consistently, month in, month out, than so it's like your earnings, not just 1 month, because you could have a big booming promotional month. Yeah, I made 12 grand. Like my first big network marketing check was like 13,000 and change. And then the next month it was like, I don't even know. It was so little, I can't remember. That's how little it was, because I just had a big flow of sales that month. And then, because at the time we were marketing water filtration units. So it wasn't based on monthly consumption, monthly usage. I just did a lot of sales that month in the group, and the check was 13 grand and change. And let's just call it zero the next. So that's not consistent month in, month out earnings. So Mark comes to me and he's like, hey man, should I quit the job? I'm like, that's your choice, man. But, let's look at the track record. You got your 10, 12,000 a month right now. I don't think he quit his job because he was like, I don't think I could, if I had to, I don't think I could get this job back. I'm like, well, you got to make that decision. Like I'm passing the baton, right? I've coached you. I've worked with you. I've got you to this point. I mean, you did the work, but I helped. And that's going to be all on you. It wasn't until I think he was at like 17 G's a month consistently for at least a few months before he's like, yeah, I'm going to quit the job. And then he never looked back. So my whole point in this video is it's so hard. It's so incredibly hard to build a business when you're just freaked out. It's not fun at all. And so don't be in a rush to go, get out of your job. Prove to yourself that you can make money here consistently, that month in, month out, you can make money, that you've proven it to yourself. I had another guy. I mean, I could give you story after story after story. I had another dude who came to me and he had a tiny percentage ownership in a company, and he ended up selling his shares, got the, but it wasn't like enough to live on. And he just kept putting it off. Here's the other thing about that. In this case, this guy didn't have a job, and he just kept waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And ultimately just blew through that money. And by the time, and he never actually initiated, let's be honest, the guy never initiated. And so he kept waiting and putting it off and putting it off. And I kept telling him, dude, you're running out of runway. You're eventually you're going to be out of runway. It's like a plane taking off and you got no runway left. You're going to crash. And he didn't crash. He just ended up, because he never even took off. So I don't even know if he got in the plane. Maybe he was sitting in the plane on the tarmac, but he never actually took off. So again, like I hope your sponsor isn't telling you hurry up and quit your job. Like I remember like some of the original mentors that I had were like, yeah, man, go. Like I don't buy this. Like this whole idea of like, yeah, go out, lease an expensive car, go buy some bunch of clothes and stuff, and act cool, look the part, and put that additional financial pressure upon yourself, and that's going to make you do more. I don't know. That just doesn't vibe with me. So, here's the solution, right? Build your business part-time in the pockets of your day, at night and on the weekends, whatever you're doing, and prove to yourself that you can make it work. I'm doing something similar to that right now, but different. I'm getting up, like all last week, and then, today's Monday. So this morning, I'm getting up at 3:45 in the morning to look at pre-market in the stock market. I'm studying day trading, but I'm getting up super early in the morning to like, I'm not jumping in with cash. In fact, I haven't even taken a single trade yet. I'm in learning mode. And then, by the end of this week, I'll be in the simulator. And the purpose is like, I won't even go into using real dollars and out of the simulator until I have a positive P&L, until I've proven to myself that I can make it work. Like, and not just like a day. Like, oh, cool, I had a one green trade or one green day. It's like, okay, if I've had, 4 weeks, 8 weeks of green, that means profitability. Then I can go from sim to real money. And then even then I would still start with small money. So this is just about like mitigating your risk. It's about not putting yourself in the position of like being totally fearful. Look, here's the reality. You already probably, if you're newer, already have enough fear to deal with, right? It's like that's the thing that stops so many people. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm so like fear is like so common in network marketing. So you already have the fear of prospecting, of being judged, of whatever, like how somebody's gonna respond to you, and then you tap on the fear of, oh my gosh, I can't pay my bills. Oh my goodness, that is no bueno. So you gotta, I mean, it's just like, you guys, I don't even know what caused me to talk about this morning. Like normally it's some conversation. I honestly, I can't even think of like, why did I want to talk about this morning? It just, bam, here we are. So, and I'm sure your sponsor's probably not telling you that. I don't know too many sponsors that, yeah, man, quit the job today. Cause that doesn't serve them either, because now they've got a distributor on their team that's making no money, that's freaking out. And they're going to be way more likely to bail and just be out because they couldn't make it work. So I know you want to quit the day job. I know you want to do network marketing full time. I know you see other people that are, doing their thing, and that will come in time. That will come in time. And it's interesting. There's so many parallels to what I'm doing right now with like understanding trading. It's like I watched this guy this morning at like 4:15 and he's up like $7,800 on the day. I'm like, I want that. But this guy's been trading for like 15 years full time. So how could, yeah, I may want that, but I don't have the skills, I don't have the experience, I don't have the knowledge to be able to do that. So how can I have that same expectation? So I know you want to make money fast. I mean, again, I'll just finish with this. Be consistent part-time. Look at your schedule. And like, for example, it's like, I don't have any time to build a business. Well, make the time to build a business. If you want something that bad, you will figure it out. This whole idea of like, I don't have the time. Okay, I get you don't have the time. Nobody has the time. Nobody has the time unless they make the time. Like, I mean, I'm getting my butt out of bed at 3:45 in the morning. You think I want to get up at 3:45 in the morning? I mean, I do because I want to learn, but it's like, it doesn't feel good. So, but I'm making the time to do it. That this is not the normal time. I mean, you guys all know that I typically like 5:20 a.m. to go to yoga. That might be my and that's still early for me now. It's like, I mean, almost 2 hours earlier. Whew, that's a beating, bro. That's hard. But here's the thing. Look at your schedule. What can give? What can you give? What can you give up? What can you, maybe you have to do, maybe you got to do what I do to some extent. I mean, it's kind of hard to prospect somebody at 3:00 in the morning. Let's be honest. I'm not saying you get yourself up and start prospecting, calling people and reaching out at 3:00 in the morning, unless they're in a time zone where it's not 3:00 in the morning. But maybe you burn the candle at both ends a little bit. Maybe the Thursday night poker games got to give. Maybe playing golf every Saturday and Sunday for, honestly, it's probably 6 hours each time. Maybe something's got to give. I mean, there's some things that give and some things that don't give. I don't think like date night with your honey should be a negotiable deal. I don't think like, going to church on Sunday is, I'm going to not go to church to build my business. No, you still go to church. There's some things that are just your kid's soccer game. You're not going to go bail on your kid's soccer game to go build your business. I mean, it's not worth sacrificing the relationship and the time that you have with your kids. It's not worth sacrificing your relationship with God. It's not worth can't even talk this morning. It's not worth risking the relationship with your spouse, your honey. But, look at your schedule. Like I can tell you, I've worked with a lot of people over the years who are totally busy, who have zero time, and I always find time for them. They always have time. They just don't know that they've got time. But don't be in some big rush to bail on your. The other thing is, like, when you like, I don't see people very often. Okay. And look, some you full-time networkers, you know what I'm talking about, that we are solopreneurs. Yeah. We were on Zooms with a bunch of people. I see a bunch of faces on my screen on Zoom. I'm on the phone all the time talking to people. I'm on social media, but we're not connecting and seeing people. Like, you all of a sudden go from full-time out and about, living your life, going to work and cruising around and being out of the house. It's like, I mean, there's weeks where I don't leave the house for 5 days. Like, don't even start the car for 5 days. That's the life of a solopreneur, an entrepreneur. But you're out, like, sticking with your job. You're going to end up, you're going to create number one, you still have income coming in. So you're not going to be freaking out that your check went to zero and that now you can't pay your bills. Number two, your natural opportunities are going to present themselves to connect with people where they could be prospects for your business. Anyhow, I've got, that's all I got for this morning. All right. I will be doing multiple lives this week. I'll say that. So, I'm making a big announcement towards the latter part of this week. Huge announcement, actually. So stay tuned for that. I can tell you this, it is totally designed to get you absolutely cranking in your business without exception, without fail. So if you're not at the level that you want to be at in your business, which unfortunately many people aren't, then you definitely want to stay plugged into me. I'm not going to tell you anything about it right now because it's coming and I got a little bit of final work to do on it, but rest assured, it will help you get to that point where someday, whenever that day is, you're like, hey, should I quit my job yet? And even then, if you came to me, I would still say, I'm not making that decision for you. That's a decision you need to make for yourself. So anyhow, just some words of wisdom from somebody who's been doing this for a little while. It sucks, man. When you don't have any cash, and because the bills keep coming, you got residual bills, but you don't have residual income yet.